How come we're not sitting on the couch?
This looks better, obviously.
Does it? Does it?
Well,
Yeah.
tell us what you guys think in the comments down below. Just tell us if this looks
Get
better.
many comments.
Yeah, tell us. Let us know down in the comment section.
We're starting a new series today. It's called like Bo's favorite movies, where we talk about each of our favorite movies, like some of mine, some of Brock's, and some of Mitchell's.
Yep. So today we're starting off with Fight Club.
Yeah, Fight Club.
Fight Club.
Yeah. And I know the first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
This is so fun. We can do the joke where it's like we're talking about it even though we're breaking the first one. Like, we get it, okay?
Yeah,
Everyone's made this freaking joke, but I'm making it.
Okay.
Fight Club.
Yeah. So, Mitchell, can you tell the story of Fight Club?
So if you haven't seen it, it's about a guy
Okay.
played by Edward Norton,
Okay.
who is he has insomnia, so the only way that can make him cry and then in extension sleep later is by him to go to these group like therapy sessions for people with like severe like deathly illnesses like cancer or AIDS or whatever. So he goes to those, and then eventually when those stop being able to help him, he meets this guy named Tyler, and then they go and then they eventually just start fighting each other just because they've never done it before, and that leads to them starting an underground fight club of guys who are tired of buying shit they don't want to impress people they don't like. And in the end, Tyler Durden is the narrator. It's in his head. It's in his head.
What a twist!
Fight Club. If you didn't know the twist, you should be ruined
Spoil
of it.
the
You should be
whole
spoiled.
movie.
Obviously, Tyler Durden is
he's
the narrator. It's
that's
in
the
his
twist.
head.
Yeah,
it's
not
all a lie.
And here's the best thing about that twist is that it gives you very subtle hints to it, but at the end you still don't see them coming. Like, for example, some of the subtle hints, like in the opening, you see kind of quick little flashes of Tyler, where he's like for example, when the narrator's talking about his insomnia, you see a quick flash of Tyler, and
Keep talking.
and like you see, and another example is and for me probably the most subtle example is when when you're watching a TV and it sees all these people in tuxedos saying welcome, and on the right hand corner you could see Tyler.
And that did nothing.
And
he just kind of he flickers in and out because like what he does with
they just drop a bunch of subtle hits throughout the movie.
and the line of, and when the narrator says, could you wake up at a different time at a different place as a different person? It's basically telegraphing the twist for us, and we still don't see it coming.
Or like those things where like I am Jack's like whatever. Those are all like saying like he's like it's not like the same. Like, it's not him. Or, like, the part where, like, he's yelling in third person. He's like, Tyler hates this. Tyler does that. And,
it's probably the best example of where you go back and look at the twist. It's clearly, like, hinted at throughout the movie. But you don't really get it when you watch it. You won't be able to see coming. It might be my favorite David Fincher movie. That, Seven, and
Social Network and that
are
are
just
like,
kind of
to me, like this and Seven
forth.
is very much for me back and forth. I love them both, but for different reasons.
I think Social Network's like here. It's like a little bit.
Yeah, it's mostly because that Social Network is kind of like the movie of our generation, whereas Fight Club is the movie for the 90s.
Yeah. It's just a great movie about it. Just it just shows like consumerist culture and how you can go the opposite of that and like this anarchy culture. And it's crazy. It's a crazy movie. Brad Pitt definitely gives his best performance ever.
Tyler Durden is one of the best characters I've encountered.
He's insane. He's crazy.
But you can kind of identify with his ideology, like how he's very like for me. If you were to ask one of my favorite moments with Tyler, it's when he's talking to the guys in Fight Club, saying like, we've been saying we're the middle children of history. We don't have any real purpose or place, and our Great Depression is our lives.
That is one of the best speeches. Pretty much all of Brad Pitt's speeches in the Underground Fight Club are amazing, and it starts off with just him saying, I want you to hit me, and from that point on, everything this guy says just keeps bringing people into his cause and keeps starting it, and eventually it just turns out it's all in this guy's head. And then I love eventually how by the end of the movie, just everybody's in this fight club because they just can't help the society they're in anymore. They can't deal with what's happened, so they're all following this giant anarchist plot of Tyler Durden / the narrator.
Yeah, because in a way, if you were to look at this movie in a biblical sense, they kind of see Tyler as some sort of messiah, in a way, like as someone to finally give them a purpose or a meaning.
It definitely is the best kind of movie about meaninglessness in kind of adulthood and corporate job life, and
Office Space, but
yes,
like bombs and stuff,
and anarchy. And
speaking of which, this movie has the best. You know, it's gonna be a great movie when it opens with Edward Norton being squeezed to death by bitch tits Bob, and they talk about Bob's bitch tits as being, how do they describe it? He's like, how we think of gods is big. That's the best description ever.
I know.
That's one. I couldn't have described a huge.
That's so
funny. Man tits.
And also another character is Edward Norton as the narrator. In fact, like I'll say it's probably one of the best pieces of narration I've ever seen. Most because it's so monotone and emotionless, but you can kind of see why. Mostly because he's become such a white-collar slave for so long, he's kind of lost his own real identity, which is a huge theme in Fight Club. In fact, I also really like in the film that after the Tyler Durden twist, we don't know his real name. Like, what do you guys think the narrator's real name is?
I'm pretty sure it's Tyler Durden.
I thought it was Jack.
No, it's not.
Here's my take on it.
Children's books. I think his name's Tyler.
No, because I don't think he tells people his real name. What does his boss? His boss calls him Jack, doesn't he?
Well, Bob calls him Cornelius.
Well, yeah, but Cornelius definitely isn't his real name. No one is named Cornelius except for like that racist dad in Community and that monkey in Planet of the Apes. Those are the two people ever named Cornelius. No one else is named Cornelius.
And also, going back to, if you want my opinion on like why the narrator is a name, it's to really like further the whole theme of the loss of identity. How like the narrator has basically the narrator's whole daily routine of paying bills and working his job has caused his life to lost all meaning. And Tyler, as he puts it in the film, is free in all the ways the narrator wish it could be. It's existentialism taken to a heightened degree.
Yeah, it's great. Anything else? I'm trying to think of some of my favorites.
When he's getting like when he kicks his own ass and he's like, I thought of my first fight with Tyler.
Oh, that's another great hint.
Or when he's like, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, at the end when he's getting like showed and like pulled on his own. Yeah. Or crazy, he throws himself down the stairs.
This movie's great. David Fincher. We haven't brought up that David Fincher is the director, and this might be like one of his best movies.
Yeah, in fact,
he just does a great job of
one of the top 5.
The way he uses the camera in this movie.
Yeah, and it's very. I love how stylized it is, and kind of like how it makes the boring world of the narrator very flat and kind of meaningless, whereas the world of Fight Club is filled with energized, alive, and violent, and, for lack of a better word, anarchy.
Yep.
Oh, the equation he uses for crash tests. He just plugs in an equation to see if the company's going to do a call.
And the company make jokes about this could make a good smoking ad.
Do you guys think that would be like a real thing? Like that's a real thing? Like, they just took it because they like heard about some car company doing it.
I'm sure that's how they do it. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure there'd be callbacks like all the time.
In fact, the thing I love about Fight Club is that it's not even though it takes place in the 90s, you could watch it nowadays and it could be just as relevant, with, like, for example, I know this is an obvious thing to point at, but the election going on, that's going to be in November, and like, for example, there's some of the consumerism is still going on right now.
Yeah, it's definitely it's unlike most movies about like a guy about people kind of breaking out of their crisis or whatever. A lot of them, like movies like American Beauty, are very fixed in their own time. The movies where other characters are kind of getting out of the shackles of like their modern life, that's very much tied into the time that takes place. But this movie can kind of transcend that just because it really just plays the kind of primal anger that people just have, and how they can just get upset with a system, and how crazy people are in general, and how crazy Tyler Durden is. That's
because he's very much
like Jared Leto.
Yeah. And big reason why with Tyler Durden is that he's very much in fact, he's is that he's not really just not only a split personality, he's also an ideal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the ideal to finally, like, you know, break free from society and embrace, and basically to basically live your life with insanity and violence, and basically have fun, and, you know, to finally just let go of all this boredom and all of this, and being a slave, and just find your own meaning.
Yep, so we all, obviously 10s out of 10 across the board. Fight Club is one of the best movies of the 90s, one of the best movies of all time, one of our favorites, and we will see you next time looking at something old, or something new, or something good like on TV. Peace out!